Welcome to preparing for the SAT Evidence-Based Reading and Writing section. As I've mentioned in a previous module, I recommend khanacademy.org for individualized practice, specific writing and language standards, and feedback. Unfortunately, on Khan Academy, it does not offer individualized practice for specific types of reading questions. Instead, it offers individualized practice for specific types of reading passages. So today in our module, we're going to be focusing on main idea questions and explicit detail questions in the reading section of the SAT. In order to understand explicit meanings, you need to read an informational passage and identify the ideas, the facts, and opinions that are explicitly stated. If we don't understand those explicitly stated ideas, it's going to be really hard to make inferences about the passage or the author's purpose. Explicit meanings refer to ideas and information that are clearly stated in the text. In contrast, implied meanings are ideas and information that a reader must infer from context. So to find the answer to an explicit question, we're going to need to search the passage for specific words or phrases included in the question. As you read each paragraph in a passage, it's important to determine the point the author is making. So you can underline key words, phrases, and facts, and then in the margin next to each paragraph, you can paraphrase or restate those important ideas. One of the most important skills when reading an informational passage is to identify the main idea. So the main idea of a text is the overall idea the writer wants to communicate. To find the main idea or central idea, you need to ask yourself, what is the central concept the author wants the reader to understand? Words that signal main ideas include, most importantly, key, central, mainly, and above all. So as you read each paragraph in a passage, underline a sentence or sentences that best express the main idea of that paragraph. This is often called a topic sentence. Think about how the main idea of each paragraph supports the main idea of the entire passage. In the margin, you can write notes about the relationship between the paragraph and the central idea of the passage as a whole. So some quick tips: the main idea of an entire passage is often in the first or last sentence of the paragraph, but that is not always the case. But if you're stuck, it's a great idea to check again that first sentence or that last sentence. Another quick tip: in writing that presents an argument, the central idea is sometimes referred to as the central claim. So let's get started. I'm going to model for you reading an SAT passage and making note of the explicit details and the main ideas in the margins. Although there has been measurable progress in recent years in reading ability at the elementary school level, all progress appears to halt as children enter their teenage years. There is a general decline in reading among teenage and adult Americans. So I'm going to go ahead and underline this sentence right here because this is kind of getting at the topic, and our topic is overall decline in reading among teenagers and adults. Most alarming, both reading ability and the habit of regular reading have greatly declined among college graduates. These negative trends have more than literary importance. As this report makes clear, the declines have demonstrated social, economic, cultural, and civic implications. And so the author here is noting the declines in reading and how that affects society in many ways. And we can see that with the demonstrable social, economic, cultural, and civic implications of that decline in reading. How does one summarize this disturbing story? As Americans, especially younger Americans, read less, they read less well. Because they read less well, they have lower levels of academic achievement. The shameful fact that nearly 1/3 of American teenagers drop out of school is deeply connected to declining literacy and reading comprehension. With lower levels of reading and writing ability, people do less well in the job market. Poor reading skills correlate heavily with lack of employment, lower wages, and fewer opportunities for advancement. Significantly worse reading skills are found among prisoners than in the general adult population, and deficient readers are less likely to become active in civic and cultural life, most notably in volunteerism and voting. So here we see that the author is underlining the implications of a decline in reading. And so overall, the main idea here is that poor readers do less well in school and at work. And we can see that spelled out here where they mention less well in the job market and how they have fewer opportunities for advancement in wages and work opportunities. All of the data suggests how powerfully reading transforms the lives of individuals. Whatever their social circumstances, regular reading not only boosts the likelihood of an individual's academic and economic success, facts that are not especially surprising, but it also seems to awaken a person's social and civic sense. Reading correlates with almost every measurement of positive personal and social behavior surveyed. It is reassuring, though hardly amazing, that readers attend more concerts and theaters than non-readers, but it is surprising that they exercise more and play more sports, no matter what their educational level. The cold statistics confirm something that most readers know about, but have mostly been reluctant to declare as a fact. Books change lives for the better. And so here, this is a paragraph noting all of the advantages of reading. And overall, the message is that reading changes lives for the better. And we see that kind of concluded here at the end of the passage. Now that we've finished the passage, I'm going to give us some time to collect some of those explicit details and main ideas from the passage. So we started off with the opening where we identified the topic as the decline in reading among teenagers and adults. But we also noticed that just because the teenagers and adults are declining in reading, we actually see an increase in recent years in elementary school students. So I'm going to go ahead and collect that idea at the bottom. So while elementary school students have improved their reading ability, teenagers and adults have actually declined. And from there, we notice that the author is transitioning to how that decline impacts people in society. And so I want to capture some of those main details here. So the decline in reading ability and regular reading habits have far-reaching implications, such as, and let's take a look at some of those implications. Right here, we can kind of see with lower levels of reading and writing, people do less well in the job market. Poor reading skills correlate heavily with lack of employment, lower wages, fewer opportunities for advancement. And so let's go ahead and collect those ideas. So, such as lower academic achievement, less success in the job market, and overall lower wages. The author then transitions from kind of how it has impacted society negatively when we have poor readers and writers, but it also transitions to the advantages of reading. So we want to collect what are some of those advantages of reading. So reading positively impacts lives regardless of their social status, and people who read have greater success in life and engage in positive social behaviors, such as attending concerts, going to the theater, and playing sports. And we see the author outlining all of these advantages in this last paragraph right here. All right, so we have our main ideas, and I think one of the things that I would like to encourage all readers to do is when we read a passage, we really want to make sure we understand it, because that will make our ability to answer those multiple choice questions that much stronger. So, for example, if you take time to read, take 30 seconds to 1 minute to just capture the main ideas in the margins, then you can go to those questions and better eliminate those incorrect answer choices. All right, so on your independent practice, you will be doing something similar. You'll be reading an SAT passage, capturing the main idea and explicit details in the text, and then answering some questions.